Hi everyone and welcome to our midweek devotion. A few weeks ago we celebrated Easter. To some people it might seem strange to celebrate Easter. After all, Easter is the festival to remember the cruel and monstrous death of the most wonderful person who ever walked this earth. But celebrate it we do because he came to die in order that we might have life, eternal life. Now I know you know that, but given that, don't you think it's strange that there is not more interest in Easter? I mean, God has hardwired us all for life. No one wants to die, not if they can help it. We've seen it in people's understandable hesitancy to go out during the pandemic and being careful to wear masks and to sanitize our hands. But Easter tells us how we can have life to the full, even eternal life. You'd think there'd be more interest, wouldn't you? But instead, people look to all sorts of other things to give them life, or the life that they want. They look for their dream house, or their dream partner, or they think that some ambition or achievement will fulfill them and give them the kind of life that they deeply desire. Others think that the right diet or the right exercise regime will give them life. But they're mistaken. They're looking in the wrong places. Listen to the words of Jesus in John chapter 10, verses 9 to 11. John chapter 10, verses 9 to 11. Jesus said this, "I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." Now, the image here is of a shepherd and his sheep. The sheep enter through the gate and will be saved. Jesus says that they will come in and go out and find pasture. Sheep need to go through a gate into a sheep pen where the shepherd could keep them safe at night. In Jesus' day, they would be kept safe from wolves. But then, in the day, they would be let out to find pasture. Going through the gate leads to safety. Any sheep that didn't want to go through the gate may feel like they were free, doing what they wanted to do outside of the sheep pen. But their so-called freedom is short-sighted and short-lived. It leads to death. Well, verse 9 says, Jesus is the gate. And whoever enters through him will be saved. They will be safe. They will have life. And just look at the kind of life that Jesus gives. Not boring, restrictive life, as people sometimes imagine the Christian life to be. Not a bit of it. He says at the end of verse 10, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." In the metaphor that Jesus is using, sheep are not just saved from bad things like death and from a wolf. They are saved for good things, for coming in and going out and finding good pasture. Well, it's the same for all who go through Jesus as the gate to life. He does not just save us from bad things. He does not just save us from bad choices in life and from death and judgment and hell. He also saves us for something good. He came that we may have life and have it to the full. Fullness of life. That is what Jesus came to bring us. He's not promising a life of perfect health, wealth and prosperity here and now. In fact, we know from our sermons in Mark's Gospel that he promises us the opposite in many ways, as he calls us to deny ourselves, take up our cross and follow him. The Christian life can involve suffering as we follow Jesus in the way of the cross. So what is life to the full? Well, it is life in right relationship with God. That is what we were made for. Without that relationship, Life can't be what it was supposed to be. It will never be full. Ultimately, of course, Jesus is talking about eternal life in his new creation, where there will be fullness and abundance in every way. God is a God of abundance. When the Old Testament prophets looked forward to what God was going to do in the future for his people, when he would establish his kingdom, the images they used were of abundance. So the prophet Joel wrote, "And in that day the mountains will drip with wine, and the hills shall flow with milk." And Isaiah wrote, "The desert shall rejoice and blossom like the crocus. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice with joy and singing." And that kind of abundance is precisely what we see in the ministry of Jesus, also recorded by John. For the first of his miracles, Jesus turned more than 600 litres of water into the very best wine. He was making quite a statement that he had come to bring life in abundance. In another of his signs, he turned 5 loaves and 2 fish into enough food for more than 5,000 people. These are little pointers to the glorious abundance and fullness we shall all enjoy in the new creation. But for now, we experience an abundance of grace, or as John chapter 1 says, blessing upon blessing. When we believe in Jesus, when we walk through the gate, he gives us relationship with God, peace with God, meaning, purpose, forgiveness, transformation. These are the things that people really desire in their lives. This is the fullness that they wish their dream home or dream relationship or their ambitions or achievements could give them, but they can't. That's why we move from one thing to the next, hoping that this might be the thing that will help me to be content with life. But it isn't. We need Jesus. And we need what Jesus did for us on the first Easter. In verse 11, Jesus changes the image of himself as the gate through which we must enter for safety to being the good shepherd. He says, "I am the good shepherd." The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He's a good shepherd in so many ways. He is kind. He is gentle. He is lowly, that is, willing to associate with sinners like us. He is compassionate, able to sympathise with our weakness. He is supremely loving. He is full of grace. His goodness is seen in so many ways, but it is seen above all in this. He laid down his life for his sheep. He laid down his life on behalf of the sheep. He gave his life to rescue them from the danger they face. It was his life for theirs. Back in 2012, a gunman stormed a primary school in the USA. One of the teachers, 27-year-old Victoria Soto, sacrificed herself to save her pupils. She ushered the children into a closet, and then she used her body, her own body, as a shield to protect the children as the gunman opened fire. She was found dead, huddled over the children. She laid down her life for them. Well, that is what Jesus did on the first Easter for us. He laid down his life to save his people, even you and me. The reason some people have difficulty understanding why Jesus had to die for them is because they don't realise the danger that they're in. There is a wolf coming. The wolf is death. And we're all in the queue for it, though we don't know where in the queue we are. Hebrews chapter 9 verse 27 says that we're all destined to die once, and after that to face judgment. That means we are in terrible danger, eternal danger. The danger of standing before God as sinners who are unforgiven. But Jesus, the Good Shepherd, laid down his life for the sheep. He died, and as he did so, he took upon himself the punishment that really belongs to us. He must love us very much indeed to do that, and he does. But notice from verse 17 that he lays down his life only to take it up again. Jesus didn't remain dead. The double joy of Easter is that he died for our sin, taking the just and full punishment that we deserve, but that he rose from the dead, and he promises resurrection life to all who will believe in him. He has not only dealt with sin for us, he has also beaten death for us, so that our death, whenever it may be, will merely be a stepping stone to eternal life. So Jesus really can say, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. That's why we celebrated Easter. It's about life to the full, even eternal life. I said at the beginning that God has hardwired the desire for life into us all. Well, Easter is how we can have our heart's desire. A couple of questions are coming up on your screens next, and then some prayer ideas will follow. Do take care, everyone. Keep safe, and love to you all. Here are some questions for us to think through. First, how do I express my desire for life to the full? What do I chase after or long for? What do I look to? Next, why is Jesus able to really give us life to the full? And finally, how is Jesus the gate and the good shepherd? Press pause now while you think about those things, and then when you're ready, press play again, and some prayer ideas will follow. Here are some prayer ideas. First, praise Jesus for the life and safety he gives to his sheep by laying down his life for us. Next, pray that we will not seek life and safety elsewhere. And finally, pray for people you know and love to enter through the gate and to know the safety provided by the Good Shepherd who laid down his life for them.